Welcome back to another edition of GrokTalk, brought to you by GrokTalk.com and Grok Media, LLC. This week, we're talking about DWI, driving while illegal. We've had a number of very high-profile incidents where an illegal alien with a driver's license has, intentionally or not, resulted in the death of U.S. citizens. So, we're going to cover that topic. We're going to talk about the situation in Florida and in Maine and a few other states that you may not have heard about, as well as revisiting an incident in New Hampshire that involved an illegal alien with a driver's license that ended up killing 7 people. We'll also cover a situation in Europe where a 17-year-old was stabbed to death by a asylee. We'll see what else we can come up with. Grok Talk starts in less than 60 seconds. New Hampshire Republican Governor Kelly Ayotte has been making a lot of noise about how she's funding education. The Republican budget she just signed provides more money for education than ever before. She even bragged the other day that New Hampshire is top 10 in the country when it comes to funding our children's education, as if giving money to school systems has anything to do with learning. If you look at the math, and if you got schooled in New Hampshire, the odds are good it's not your best subject. It's the exact opposite. The more money we throw at schools, the less kids learn. We're committed to wasting money on an experiment that failed, unless wasting money to drive parents to homeschool their kids was the goal. We prefer to pick on Democrats, lower hanging fruit and all that, but our rhetorical woodshed doesn't discriminate. If that sounds refreshing, you need to check us out. This is Steve McDonald for Grok, and we'll keep shining the light on them for you. You were probably just on the fringe of suspicious about the number of individuals in the United States who are here illegally and the number of them that are driving illegally, some of them with driver's licenses, thanks primarily to mostly blue and blue-leaning states where they've said, hey, you know what? It'd be great if they had a driver's license and they could drive. Well, what they could actually do is register to vote. And of course, we all understand that the reason that they let 14 million illegal aliens into the country is so that they could flood blue congressional districts and, guess what? Get more seats in Congress. That's a discussion for another time. You know about Texas, you know about California, you know about the rest of it. We're talking about DWI, driving while illegal. And if you do an AI search and you look for the hottest, most interesting murderers who have been driving in the United States this year, you get these guys. So the Florida situation where 3 people died, you're probably aware of that. Harjinder Singh, Florida, August 2025, was arrested for 3 counts of vehicular homicide after causing a fatal crash on Florida's turnpike by attempting an illegal U-turn while driving a semi-truck, 18-wheeler. Harneet Singh, also a passenger in the same vehicle, he was arrested by ICE following the crash. He's not here legally. Noella Saray Martinez Villa, Wisconsin, July 2025, not that long ago, arrested for 2 counts of felony vehicular homicide and impaired driving after a wrong-way crash killed 2 teens. Lionel Francisco in Maine, we'll be talking about this one, arrested by ICE after driving over a pedestrian in a public park while operating on a learner's permit. Mibia, we have his full name in another tab, I'll get to it. He also Maine, arrested August 2025 by ICE following a separate fatal vehicle wreck in Maine involving another pedestrian, 65-year-old woman. Jose de Santiago Martinez, California, 2025, arrested by ICE after convictions for misdemeanor drunk driving. ICE estimate that they have arrested 6,398 illegals, all having convictions or charges for DWI, DUI. There is no specific data on if any of these resulted in an accident or if anybody was injured or killed. But we do have these high-profile incidents and some other incidents that I mentioned in the intro that we're going to talk about that are getting people pretty uppity about this whole illegal alien thing. So if we go to the Florida situation first, from Fox 35, this is dated August 18th, 3 people, 2 men and a woman, were killed in Florida after a semi-truck driver hauling a trailer made an illegal U-turn on the Florida Turnpike, locked all lanes, and collided with a minivan. Correctly stated, the minivan collided with the trailer, went right underneath it, ripped the entire top off the car, killed all 3 people instantly. This was according to an investigation by the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. FHP said the semi-truck driver, later identified as Harjinder Singh, entered the United States illegally in 2018 and obtained his commercial driver's license from, drumroll please, California. Nice job, California. Thank you. Troopers say Singh, 28, cut across the highway using an official use only access point near mile marker 171 in Fort Pierce on August 12th. His tractor trailer stretched across all northbound lanes, leaving the minivan with no time to brake.
Well, Jim, Luli, this is really about more than just one bad U-turn. The truck driver accused of causing it is undocumented, licensed in California under a controversial law. And now new video taken inside his cab shows the very moment that everything went horribly, horribly wrong. Video circulating online shows the shocking view from inside a semi as a minivan slams into the trailer and wedges underneath. Troopers say that driver, 28-year-old Harjinder Singh, had just made an illegal U-turn, cutting across the Florida Turnpike in Fort Pierce last Tuesday. The move left his big rig blocking all northbound lanes. The minivan had no time to brake. All three people inside from Broward and Miami-Dade counties were killed. Singh is now charged with 3 counts of vehicular homicide. He's being held in the St. Lucie County Jail with an ICE detainer, meaning he'll be deported after his criminal case. Federal records show Singh entered the U.S. illegally through the southern border in 2018. Records also show he got his commercial license in California.
No chance in hell those people were going to survive that, even if they ducked. So, thank you very much, California. That's just one incident. We've had a couple closer to home in our neighboring, increasingly blue state of Maine, where they are fighting to defend illegal aliens with driver's licenses. This is from DHS.gov, ICE. In less than a week, the Department of Homeland Security has confirmed the involvement of 2 Angolan illegal aliens in separate vehicle wrecks that resulted in the deaths of 2 pedestrians in Maine. Both illegal aliens overstayed B2 tourist visas and have been arrested by ICE. See, that's illegal everywhere in the world, including the United States. On August 16th, Mukendi Mibia hit Stacy Strattard, 64, with his car while she was crossing the street in New Gloucester, tragically killing her at the scene. The incident is still being investigated by authorities. Stacy is no longer with us. Thank you very much. The new driver with the driver's license. He entered the U.S. on a B2 tourist visa on December 23, 2018. His visa required him to depart the U.S. on June 22, 2019, which he failed to do. On August 18, 2025, ICE arrested him after he killed an otherwise innocent white woman. The other, Lionel Francisco, was detained by Lewiston police after reportedly driving over Elizabeth Camacho, a 74-year-old pedestrian, in a public park. Local reports confirm Francisco was operating the vehicle while on a learner's permit. The local jurisdiction is not pursuing any criminal charges despite the death of an innocent American. Why? That's a good question. We're going to have to dig into that at some point in the future. Francisco entered the U.S. on a B2 tourist visa on January 31st, 2025. Hasn't been here very long. Already killed somebody. His visa required him to depart the U.S. on July 30th, 2025, which he failed to do so. On August 15th, he was arrested after killing a 74-year-old pedestrian minding her own business in a public park in Maine. It seems, quote, it seems to be almost a daily occurrence where an illegal alien driving kills innocent Americans, said Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin. All of these deaths are preventable because these illegal aliens should have never been in the country. These 2 illegal aliens in Maine came to the country on B2 tourist visas that allowed them to remain in the country for 6 months as tourists, as guests, like they were on vacation or something. Both overstayed their visas and never left the U.S. President Trump and Secretary Noem are committed to restoring integrity to our visa program to ensure they are not exploited by illegal aliens as one-way tickets to remain in the U.S. DHS law enforcement is protecting American communities every day, blah, 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 blah. So we are very familiar with this in New Hampshire. Back in the summer of 2019, I believe it was Motorcycle Week, a gentleman named Vladimir Zukovsky was driving a truck with a trailer attached to it. And some set of circumstances, subject to debate, but in the court eventually found him not guilty of manslaughter. There was an accident. 7 motorcyclists were killed. He was at the time reportedly drunk and in possession of illegal drugs. And that was pretty bad. But here's the thing. He had been arrested the month before that accident in Connecticut for driving under the influence. And they notified the state of Massachusetts, and Massachusetts didn't do anything about it. Massachusetts is the state that gave him his driver's license. His multiple incidents, multiple arrests, multiple citations in multiple states, all for violations that should have cost him his license, at least for a little while. And it did not. So regardless of the court outcome of the case, it seems like he shouldn't have been driving. And if he weren't, those people would probably still be alive. Interestingly enough, his court case in Connecticut just wrapped up. And let me see if I have that here. Commercial truck driver who was acquitted in the 2019 deaths of 7 motorcyclists in New Hampshire had pleaded guilty and was sentenced Monday for driving under the influence in Connecticut the month before that deadly crash, an offense that should have resulted in his license being revoked. This is from Boston.com. It is dated April 14th, 2025. Volodymyr Zukovsky appeared in Hartford Superior Court and entered an Alford plea, which means he did not admit guilt but acknowledged the state had enough evidence to win a conviction at trial. The plea results in a conviction, and he was sentenced to 18 months of probation. He clearly understands the significance of this, Zukovsky's lawyer, John O'Brien, said during a brief court proceeding. Zukovsky, who's now 29, of West Springfield, Massachusetts, only said guilty, yes, Your Honor, and no, Your Honor, during the hearing, probably at the instruction of counsel. Don't talk, just the bare minimum. He was arrested for driving under the influence in East Windsor, Connecticut on May 11th, 2019. Connecticut officials alerted the Massachusetts Registry of Motor Vehicles, but Zukovsky's license wasn't immediately suspended due to a backlog of out-of-state notifications about driving offenses, which we reported on repeatedly, the result of which was that they really weren't doing anything with them. They were kind of ignoring them. Nobody was paying any attention. And after the deaths of the 7 motorcyclists in New Hampshire, they eventually found at least 2,000 licenses that they suspended after that. 2,000 people who were not supposed to be on the road for various infractions, but they were driving around just like this guy. And so we have to assume that they were dangerous. We don't know if anything specifically happened with any of those individuals, but that is how that worked out. Illegal alien driver's license are granted on a specific limited basis in the states where they allow them. That doesn't mean we have to honor them here. If that is the case, and it does happen or has happened, we would not have illegals driving in the state because the trucking companies that they work for wouldn't probably send them here. It is true that the trucking company owner who had employed Zukovsky did end up doing 2 months in jail, more time than Zukovsky did, for what happened in that situation. But again, there's just these layers of incompetence. They're not very good at it. So in related news, over in the European theater, this past week, girl 17 stabbed to death while calling cops to report being followed on her bike ride home in Holland. So a wave of national fury has swept Holland following the arrest of an asylum seeker for the killing of a 17-year-old who was stabbed to death while she was calling the police to report being followed on her bike ride home. Apologize for my distraction. Somebody hit a phone pole last night just up the street here, one house down. And we didn't lose power, but the police have been in the road blocking it since, basically 4 o'clock this morning. And they had to replace the pole and the wire and the utility trucks and their supervisors and cops coming and going. It's a lot of things going on. No regular traffic because you can't get through till they're done. But every time flashing lights roll up in my driveway, I'm like, what? Oh, okay, it's them. So anyway, the lifeless body of Lisa was discovered by police in a roadside ditch in the early hours of Wednesday morning. She was returning from a night out with friends before she was attacked by a man who also had a bicycle with him while she was phoning the emergency police number. The main suspect in the case, 22-year-old male asylum seeker, was arrested for a rape in Amsterdam on August 15th and allegedly assaulted a third woman 5 days earlier. So picture this, okay? This guy, 22-year-old male asylum seeker, he's arrested before this murder for sexual assault and rape. Why is he walking around? This girl should be alive. Another fine incident of stupid behavior by European elites, and we have them here. Obviously, they're giving licenses to illegal aliens who shouldn't be driving. Apparently, an awful lot of people are pissed off about this, and there's no end of outrage. So, again, why does it take this? Why does somebody's child have to die? Why does a family just driving up the highway in Florida have to be decapitated by a tractor trailer before anybody goes, oh, geez, maybe this isn't such a great idea? Here's the other thing. Democrats are going to defend it. Maybe not these specific incidents, but they're going to go, well, but they're all not like that. Well, of course they're not all like that. But you know what they are all like? They're all here illegally. So this is really, really sad. And a lot of people are upset about it. And this is Amsterdam. This is Holland. I don't know what's going to come of it. Probably nothing. The elites will probably arrest all the people and call them bigots and xenophobes, just like they do in England. So, woke sanctuary city where cops are secretly helping ICE to arrest migrants behind Democrat mayor's back. How do you feel about that? That sounds pretty good, huh? What city could that possibly be? Well, it's not that far from me, about an hour, roughly. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons has claimed that police in Boston, Massachusetts are defying their Democrat mayor to help the federal government. Lyons revealed on the Howie Carr Show on Wednesday that because of Boston's sanctuary city status, local law enforcement is prohibited from reporting crimes committed by undocumented migrants in certain circumstances. We have so many men and women on the Boston Police Department, he says, and other jurisdictions that are so pro-ICE, they want to work with us, and they are actually helping us behind the scenes, Lyons said. He added that some officers can't cooperate with immigration and customs enforcement out of fear they'll be fired due to the city's sanctuary status. Lyons said that ICE was ramping up operations in Boston with plans to flood the zone. So screw you, Michelle Wu. ICE is coming, and you can't stop them. I wonder if they'll have riots. It'll be interesting to see if they do. So we have this ongoing issue with states issuing driver's licenses to illegal aliens, especially, apparently, truck drivers. I think that if New Hampshire is pursuing the ability to prevent them from operating legally in the state of New Hampshire, they should do that and complete that. If they've already done it, great. I haven't found it yet, but I will keep looking. If you are aware of it, please let me know. Other states need to do the same thing. If we can do it, they can do it. Maybe somebody else has already done it. I didn't look it up for this segment, but I will. If they can't drive in states that don't allow it, it limits them to the states that they have operators' licenses in, and neighboring states. Like in New England, it would be like every state but New Hampshire. It's a small step, but it's a step in the right direction. And keep in mind, not everybody who's a bad driver is an illegal alien, but they're allowed to be here. All right, that's pretty much it for this week. Watch out for those illegal alien truck drivers, ladies and gentlemen, and you be safe out there.
GrokTalk.